friended on Fortnite. Yeah, I'll be playing that later on. So if you're trying to get on, let me know. Alright. Should I move the camera? Yeah, I'll pull it down a little bit. Alright.
World by storm back in 2021, and they launched a Kickstarter which raised over $2 million. But now it's 2023. There is no game, and very few of the rewards from the Kickstarter have been fulfilled. So what happened?
I played this game one time, and I was supposed to come back and play it again, and I never did.
A quick recap for those of you who don't know much about the game. Back in October of 2020, Cameron Taylor, who's better known online as Ninja Muffin 99, assembled a group of creators from Newgrounds to compete in Ludum Dare, which is a game jam event where participants are given 48 hours to create a video game from scratch based on a specific theme. Ninja Muffin and his team, which was comprised of fellow Newgrounds artists Phantom Arcade, Evil Skater, and Kawaii Sprite, created a video game which would come to be known as Friday Night Funkin'. The game was pretty bare bones at the time, given the time constraints for making it, but
you grinded Fortnite or Friday Night Funkin'? I hope you talking about Fort.
it still resembled what we expect from the game
You grinded Friday Night Funkin'? That's crazy.
today. Although the game ultimately did not win the Game Jam event, it did find a lot of success and support online, which led the team to create a more polished version of the game, which featured 2 weeks of playable levels and a more streamlined UI.
I never finished it. Honestly, never finished it.
And as the game continued to grow more and more popular over the months, they continued to add more content to it. And by April of 2021, just 5 months after the game launched, they had already released week 7 of the game on Newgrounds. Fun fact, the release was so popular, it completely broke the site for a little while. And at this point in time, the entire creative team was basically working on this as a passion project. You know, there was no monetary incentive for them to continue working on it. They just wanted to share their creative vision with the world. But given the amount of success and support the game had found online, the next logical step would be to secure funding.
Okay.
Later that month, in April of 2021, they officially announced Friday Night Funkin', the full game Kickstarter. Notice the really laid-back title of the Kickstarter. Keep that in mind because it will come into play down the line. They had over 20 different price tiers you could support this Kickstarter on, getting yourself perks such as t-shirts, CDs and vinyl pressings of the songs, sticker sheets, and even putting yourself in the game. They had set a goal of $60,000 to turn this pipe dream into a reality, and they hit it almost immediately. Now, a common thing on Kickstarter is the concept of stretch goals. It's a way to incentivize people to keep donating to the cause even if you've already secured the funding. So if the goal was $60,000, maybe you add a new feature if you somehow reach $100,000. To say the Friday Night Funkin' team was ambitious with their stretch goals is an understatement. The very first stretch goal of theirs, priced at just $25,000 over their initial goal, was to release a mobile build of the game. And you see, I think that's the perfect use for a stretch goal, you know, make the game more accessible for all players. It's wonderful. Then things start to ramp up a bit. A custom character creator and an online sharing network. And you know, these goals still seem fairly reasonable at this point. You know, hosting this content on a server is not going to be cheap, but it is a stretch goal. But if they hit $615,000 worth of funding, they were promising an additional
If you're doing anything but putting yourself in the game, you might be a weirdo. That's the only thing I think that warranted all of this money that they got was them putting you in the game. Because I mean, like, who wouldn't want to be put in the game? The online multiplayer. I don't think they needed the fully animated cutscenes. And for $865,000, they wanted to add 5 additional weeks. Doesn't make sense because y'all did this. What they had, like a month? Yeah, I was able to do at least 3 weeks in a month. They didn't need that much money.
5 weeks of content added onto the game. Now keep in mind, the full game that this Kickstarter was promoting already promised 20 weeks of content. With 3 songs in each week, that is a total of 60 levels included in the game. And they just promised 15 more. Oh, but they weren't done yet. To make a long story short, by the end of this Kickstarter, they had promised an additional 25 weeks of content, a hard mode for every week of content, fully animated cutscenes for each level, and a real-time online multiplayer mode for the game.
Like that. The only thing warranted is the online multiplayer.
I remember at the time thinking, this is either really ambitious, really stupid, or a mixture of the both. I obviously wanted to show my support for this Kickstarter because it was a group of passionate creators wanting to share their work with their fans, and honestly, that's something I can always get behind. Now, at the time, I had pledged $65 to this campaign, which entitled me to a CD, cassette, and vinyl of the original soundtrack, a digital copy of the game, my name in the credits of the game, and a digital art booklet. And I'm happy to say that as of January of 2023, I have not received any of those, and I'll get into that a bit later. But
why are you happy to say that? I want my stuff. I paid $65 to be put in the credits of the game. I want to be in the game. So I can modify. Bro, if I knew how to do emotes, I would. I want to learn how to do them. These are the only things I know how to do is change the colors of the damn profile picture.
But one thing I did gain immediate access to was backer-only updates. These exclusive posts would keep me and other paying supporters informed of what's going on behind the scenes. So let's see what kind of information they've given us over the past 2 years.
Okay.
Hi lol. Crack. Kawaii Sprite has a butthole that's freaking tight. What if were to just? I can't find Kawaii Sprite. I left my room for the first time in 3 months. Ninja Muffin is scaring me.
Now, one thing about their entire Kickstarter is they've taken a very laid-back approach to how they communicate with their supporters. Their updates usually include typos, swearing, and just general non-seriousness. Now, I'm in no way trying to be a prude, because I can take a step back and still see the comedy in it. But at the same time, you just raised over $2 million. Maybe you could give us a serious update every once in a while. Right? So one big thing I was able to glean from these sporadic updates was just how unprepared this team was to tackle a project of this size.
Like literally nuked. Nightbot just nuked your comment. How I get him to stop that? That's crazy.
Seemed like the only updates we were getting for this Kickstarter were apologies that all of our perks were getting delayed. I think the most blatant case of that in this scenario is the physical media. Now, back when the Kickstarter launched in April, they had initially promised that the physical media would be sent out to supporters around September of 2021. The company that would be taking care of the manufacturing and distribution of these physical media would be Needle Juice Records, and I want to make it very clear, every accusation I am lobbying in this video is directly at the Friday Night Funkin' team and not Needle Juice Records. I have worked with Needle Juice Records in the past, and they are absolutely wonderful, and I know in this case they are just working with what they've been given. Now, producing physical media like this isn't a quick process, so you want to get started on that as soon as you can. The problem is, the Friday Night Funkin' team just kept kicking this can down the road and procrastinating on one of the more time-sensitive issues in this campaign. Needle Juice Records even had to come out and say that they were still waiting on the final album artwork from the Friday Night Funkin' team before they were even able to start the manufacturing process. Now keep in mind, I started working with Needle Juice Records at the exact same time to release my own music on physical media. I signed on in May, everything was sent out for manufacturing by August, and by October I had in my hand the CDs and cassettes. So clearly it was possible to get this Friday Night Funkin' CD manufactured and shipped out to backers by their September 2021 deadline. Did they do it? In their July Kickstarter update, they revealed that they had not quite finished the album artwork yet, but they showed off a nearly finished design. Now, this was 3 months after the launch of the Kickstarter, mind you. Fast forward to the October update, and for the very first time, they reveal that no one will be getting their perks on time because they still haven't finished the album artwork. And on top of that, they reveal that the vinyls will still be
So here's my thing on, let's say, pre-orders, because that's essentially what the Kickstarter was. It's a damn pre-order. If I'm not getting my stuff on time, there needs to be some type of restitution. I need to get something back for that. I either need to get half my money back or bump me up to the next tier. So if I bought the lowest tier and I didn't get what I needed to get, then you gotta bump me up to the next tier. Because that only makes sense. Like I just pre-ordered. He spent $65. That's damn near buying a PS5 game, and you bought a Dance Dance Revolution clone, which essentially is Friday Night Funkin', but you're using your fingers, and you didn't get any of your stuff. That's insane to me. Like that can't happen to me at all. It has to be some type of punishment for that.
Be another year and a half out due to a vinyl shortage, which I get the vinyl shortage is completely out of their control, but now you tell us? But by December, the album artwork was almost done, which is code for still not done. But luckily in February, he revealed that the CDs and cassettes have been sent off for manufacturing. And then further down says he was lying and they're not done with the artwork yet. But have no fear, because by July 2022, Ninja Muffin finally reveals that CDs and cassettes will be shipping out shortly. But that he sent the wrong customer data to the distributors, so it's going to be delayed again. That was July 2022. And that was the last update they ever posted. If I look through the social media of Needle Juice, it looks like that as of January of 2023, this physical media is finally getting ready to ship to backers, but there has been no official word from the Kickstarter campaign. At the time of recording this, I still have not received mine, so just a tad bit off from their September 2021 shipping date. But I hear you screaming, enough about the perks, what about the game? When the Kickstarter launched, they expected the game to ship out in April of 2022. And did it? Of course not. They actually didn't address this until February of 2022, 2 months before the expected release of the game, where they said they never really expected to release it in April of 2022. That was just a date they put in, and they're sorry for not communicating that earlier. And through these backer updates, we basically heard just production information about the t-shirts, CDs, pins, and how all of them were taking much longer than expected. We rarely heard anything about the game progress, which, you know, is the main point of the Kickstarter. It actually wasn't until May of 2022 that we received our first update on the progress of the actual game, well over a year after it was funded. And what do we know about it now?
Is the game still free?
Still not much. All they have revealed to us is that they've, quote, made progress on the game, but they have never quantified what that progress is. The tone of this and any other update can only be described as, you don't understand how hard this is, so give us a break. Which I get, it's a lot of work and it's very hard, but at the same time, just give us something. It has been well over 5 months since we got our last Kickstarter update. I have no idea what shape the game is in right now. The Kickstarter comments are starting to get filled up by people complaining that they haven't gotten their perks yet and accusing the creators of taking the money and running. Now, do I think the creators took the money and ran? No, but I think they were woefully unprepared for the magnitude of this project and bit off way more than they could chew. I don't think they expected the Kickstarter to be this successful, and so while people were throwing more and more money at them, it just made sense for them to promise more and more things. But once the dust settled, all that was left was 4 young adults, a big promise, and 58,000 people to please. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you're looking to buy some physical media that won't take 2 years to ship out, consider buying my Automatoons Volume 1 on CD, vinyl, and cassette. Of course, let me know what you want to see next on this channel, and until next time, be kind to one another, stay safe.
Okay, Sully, this is my first time seeing you, and I like your stuff. So that's what happened to Friday Night Funkin'. They just literally, you know, took you guys' money and essentially ran with it. Bummer, ain't it? It probably sucks. 2 years is crazy. For a game, like, yeah, they could have kept the game the same way. Actually, it was on Itch.io at first, right? It should still be there.